I'd actually shot this whole opening and then, yeah, wrong place. But anyway, so this was the package it came to. Contained three comics. Woo woo. Inside was this other padded envelope. So it was literally double wrapped. Not only that, but the seller had a board on one side and a board on the other of the comics. So you couldn't even see what they were. But I've taken them out, I've rebagged them. I'm going to show you to them now. I'll give you the details. So basically, for these three comics from 1997, so I'm buying late 90s comics here, 116 bucks is what it cost me in total. That's about $38 Canadian per comic, which is about $28 US, which is way too much. I should not be paying that much for 90s comics ever, but and they're not graded, they're just raw comics. I'll show you what I got here. So this is the P Anime series, which is Pioneer P Anime, issue 4. Issue 5, and here's the big one. It's coming. Issue 6. Now this is a wraparound. I'm really happy they put this. It saw me in like full-blown pajamas there. Good one, Mahoshi. Galaxy Police. Aha. So yeah, 6 has gotten rather expensive. I'll put up some current listings for prices there. What happened, like way back, I think a couple of years ago now, I was at a local show and I bought this one. It was like $2, right? So I'm like, oh, I like Tenchi. $2, I'll get that one. I'd never heard of P Anime, which stands for Pioneer, who's the production company, anime, right? So there's an interesting story behind this because this one was actually sanctioned by Pioneer to be produced in the West. And you know, like my latest interest is American authors doing original stories with Japanese IP. Well, let's explain why. So this is Ryo-Oki for people that don't know. I got this like many moons ago. I think from my wife and daughters, right? So J.D. Calderone, who's the writer, he did a couple different takes or treatments for the Tenchi stories he wanted to do, right, to stay within the Tenchi Ryo-Oki universe. And the one they went with features Ryo-Oki, mainly because Pioneer wanted to push sales of this guy. So that was their whole motivation. But it's here's what really interests me. Because Tenchi, the OEV, and it was never a manga first, it was strictly straight to video, September 25th, 1992. To put that in perspective, Sailor Moon as an anime released March 7th, 1992. It took off. It was crazy, huge, like OAVs, did a Tenchi Universe, which is television, movies, so yeah, very popular. But again, it's one of those situations where the IP was literally purchased or owned or whatever by the production company. So they were able to do things like this. Like they didn't have the original mangaka creator to go through for rights. As you know, I'm starting to get into that, like the Studio Proteus, the fact that, they were able to do the original Dirty Pair, which was original story, but again, Dirty Pair was never a manga until much later. Basically started off as a light novel. So there you have it. There's my latest opening. I'll put up the prices that I paid. And I do have another shipment coming from the States that I'd actually purchased before this one, but it takes forever, and we'll see how I do with that one. I will say, like, these ones are in super good condition, so I'm really happy there. But anyway, yeah, Ryo-Oki. Talk to you later. We'll see what we get next time, and I'm still going to do that darn 90s anime video because I've been thinking about Tenchi in the 90s anime a lot, and just how fun it was. And what a good time to be alive for anime. Well, darn, I almost forgot. Two things I should mention. There was actually a Kickstarter launched by a group of American fans of the American Tenchi Muyo comic. The Kickstarter's ended and they've actually got the product out now, which is pretty cool. But I'll put a link to that as well. The other thing I should mention is there's something called a TenchiCast, and I believe it was number 43, where they actually talked to J.D. Calderone and Matt Lunsford about the creation of this comic and how they wound up working with Pioneer. And it's a bit of a tragedy too, because there was actually plans to publish 18 more issues and do other works, but unfortunately there was like an embezzlement scandal, and somebody ran off with kind of the seed money for that. And yeah, terribly unfortunate. But anyway, if you want to check that out, I'll put that link below as well. So once again, thanks so much for watching, and talk to you later. Bye bye.